welcome to this week's edition of the Construction CPA's Coffee Cafe. I am the Construction CPA, Lisa Raish. We are dropping the hammer on cash flow problems so you can build things that matter. This week's topic is going to be cutting costs without cutting corners, right? Let's help save you money, but we don't want to damage your reputation or the quality of the work that you're doing. So welcome. This is I believe, the sixth week in a series. So this is our cash flow boot camp for contractors. So we're week 6 in, and let's talk a little bit about costs or expenses, right? So in construction, costs can creep up pretty quickly, but you can't just cut expenses or just slash them, delete them, because at the end of the day, you may hurt the quality of your work. You might damage your reputation, right? Especially if you spent a lot of time building that reputation. So let's just talk about today how we can do cost cutting in a smart way, in an efficient way, and get you that savings without damaging the quality of the work that you're putting out there. And again, without you guys cutting any corners. And today we're going to make sure that you walk away with 3 or 4 actionable things that you can do today or tomorrow to start to cut costs in an efficient manner in your business. So let's talk a little bit why. Like, why is it smart, and why is it smart to cut costs, and why does it matter, right? Why is this important? So it's not about being cheap, right? It needs to be about you being efficient as well as intentional with your expenses. Instead of just spending just to spend, right? You want to be intentional about it. And with construction, sometimes inefficiencies creep in pretty quickly because you are dependent upon actual labor and people. And so when you start to throw people into the mix, things can get inefficient. So where can you actually improve that efficiency? If you can, and therefore cut costs, but in an efficient manner, again, not cutting your quality and not damaging your reputation, right? Poor quality leads to a lot of different issues. The cost to do rework, clients who no longer trust you or want to utilize your services because the work has been iffy, right? The quality, you've had quality issues. So again, you can't just slash expenses just because. We want to be intentional about cutting those costs, right? And you can also, at the end of the day, which is what this is all about, what we've been talking about for the last 6 weeks, and we're going to talk about for a couple more, is cash flow, right? Smart cost cutting will help you to strengthen your cash flow, right? Cutting out the things that you don't need, things that aren't efficient in your business, and it will help you maintain that high standards, which will in turn continue to help you build and maintain that brand, right? The brand that you've put so much effort into building because people know you, right? You're doing this in a smart way, in an efficient way, and in an intentional way. So let's talk about some of the things you can do. So first thing is make sure you are reviewing your vendor or your supplier, your pricing with them. And you want to do this regularly. I think too often, especially in construction, what do? We go out and we order the materials, we order the supplies, we go back to the same supplier every time, right? Prices change, things in the market change. So don't assume that the vendor you have right now is the best one and has the best deal. Does it make sense for you to potentially move over to another vendor where you can get better pricing? Or do you have a good enough relationship or a long-standing relationship with the vendor you have now that you can go back and say, hey, I've noticed I can get X, Y, and Z, here and here. What can you do? Can you help me get better pricing? Right? So now you're not just blindly paying for things, you're actually managing and monitoring what you're paying for them to see if there is an opportunity for you to find savings. So again, shop around, renegotiate. That's also part of the reason why it's important for you to maintain and manage the relationships you have with your suppliers and your vendors. Because when these types of things come up, you want to be able to go back to them and say, hey, we've been with you X years, we buy X dollars every year, so on and so forth. Gives you a little bit of wiggle room, see if you can get that better price, right? So what's your takeaway for today? Go out there and review what you're spending on your materials and your supplies, right? Are you overpaying? Is there an opportunity for savings? Is there an opportunity for you to renegotiate with your existing vendor? Get out there and talk to them and see if you can get a better price. So, tip two, like what else can you do? All right. So, another thing we just talked about negotiating or renegotiating, can you actually negotiate a discount, right? Maybe a permanent discount or, building those relationships with those vendors. Those are the types of things. Again, maybe you could temporarily get a price decrease. Is there an opportunity over time for you to actually get a better price? Are you buying so much that now you could potentially be getting some type of bulk discount? Or, does your vendor have some type of loyalty program, loyalty rewards? I mean, everybody seems to have those today. So, what is it? Is it valuable enough? Is there something that you can get out of it? Future discounts, again, something. Or, can you actually pay early, right? Now you've improved your cash flow. You're in a position that, if I paid early, I actually could get a discount on paying it because I paid it early, right? So again, there's a couple of things that you can do and a couple of things that you can think about and look at and say, oh, all right, I'm in the position now where I have good cash flow. I actually could pay this vendor early and get that discount. If that discount is, again, a decent percentage, is it 1, 2, 3%? Again, whatever the vendor may in fact have. But there are a couple of options, right? Are you buying so much from them that you could get like just a bulk discount, or can you pay them early, right? So going back to the last point, you need to build those relationships with your vendors and your suppliers, right? Get to know who they are, because those relationships will often help you lead to better pricing or some sort of priority in their servicing function. So again, you want to be that great customer for them, so that they can potentially offer you those discounts. Or if they don't offer them, when you actually ask for them, then they're open to negotiating with you and actually potentially giving you the discounts, or bulk discounts or some type of incentive, right? Because they know you, they have a relationship with you. So kind of what is your takeaway for today? Relationships can save you money. It's not just a waste of your time to build that relationship with those vendors and those suppliers. So, start building that relationship with them now. It's not just price shopping at the end of the day. It's not, oh, well, I'm just going to take my business somewhere else. Again, that built relationship with that vendor could save you the heartache and the pain of moving from one vendor to another to get that discount, right? Because they don't necessarily want to lose you any more than you want to have to move your business. So number 3, what else can you do, right? What are some of the other things that you can do to kind of cut costs, but do it in an efficient manner? So you want to make sure that you're optimizing your labor, and you want to make sure you optimize the equipment usage in your business, right? You want to make sure you're not wasting your labor. You want to schedule appropriately, plan the projects appropriately. And now going back to the supplies, make sure you're supplying your projects appropriately. We see it all too many times because we see the financial side of the business, where there's at least one person on every job site who's running out to get to the local Home Depot, the local Lowe's, to the local hardware store to get the 1, 2 things, the little things, the little this. We ran short of that because the job site wasn't properly supplied with all the appropriate materials. So now that's lost labor. That is one of your team members driving back and forth to the store all day long and getting all of the different things that the other team members are missing. And at the same time, are one or more than one of the other team members sitting there waiting for that thing to come. So now you've got a stoppage. You have a stoppage in your business. You've got your people probably just kind of there twiddling their thumbs, right? So make sure you're doing better scheduling, better materials, supply ordering, planning on those projects in a more efficient manner, so that you don't have that one team member running all over the place, picking up things for the other team members. And, can you share equipment? Can you lease the equipment instead of owning it? Sometimes buying the equipment is not the most efficient use of your resources, your money. It might make more sense to rent it temporarily or lease it or whatever. So again, those are the things that you want to look at. It's not just, oh, well, we buy all of the things. No, we're actually reviewing when we need new equipment, whether or not we actually should purchase it or if it makes sense to rent it when we need it, right? So what is your takeaway from this, right? Efficiency on the job site is going to reduce unnecessary costs. It is the unspoken cost for that one team member to run back and forth to get those supplies. It's the unspoken cost of actually having that piece of equipment sitting in your storage facility, in your shop for 70-80% of the time, and only 20% of the time it's out on the streets actually working on projects, right? So let's be efficient, not only with our labor force, but the equipment that we buy too. Those are two very large utilizations of your resources. And you really want to be efficient and you want to be intentional about that too. Again, you can have a lot of money tied up in labor as well as equipment. If you don't need to, there's an opportunity there, again, to get you that savings. The savings in, I don't have a person spending 8 hours of his week every week driving back and forth to get the one-off supplies, because we see it from a finance standpoint. We see the one-off charges to Home Depot, Lowe's all day long on the credit cards because there's a team member going back and forth to the job site in order to purchase those things. So they're not on the site working, and there's a really good chance that there are other people on that site that aren't working either because they're waiting for that thing to come in. So let's be efficient with our people and with our equipment. What else can you do, right? What are some of the other things that you can do from a cost savings perspective, right? In your business, and which will ultimately help you with cash flow. So you want to make sure that you are leveraging technology, especially to reduce overhead. Now, technology is one of those things in construction that tends to be almost like a swear word, to be honest, right? People are so afraid of, unwilling to adopt technology, but there are opportunities for you to make your business more efficient, more profitable, because now you have people that are operating within that entity more efficiently, right? Are you using a project management software? I talk about this all the time. We see it far too often. There's either no job costing being done or it's being done on an Excel spreadsheet, which in most cases is not very efficient with someone's time. It's a lot of time for someone to track that. So get yourself into the right project management system. Get yourself into the right accounting system for your business. Track the costs on the job so that you can actually see if your jobs are profitable and if they're profitable in real time. If a job is 4 months long, you do not want to find out 2 weeks after the job has ended that it wasn't profitable because you never tracked any of the expenses in it. You want to be able to find out in week 5, 6, 8 that, the job is going off the rails, right? Is there an opportunity for you to save that job, right? Once the job is closed, doing a postmortem on it is not going to help you from a cost savings perspective. So utilize that technology in terms of project management softwares and accounting softwares to track your revenue and your expenses and your costs associated with the jobs in real time. Automate where you can. So automate your time tracking if you can. Automate your billing. Automate general reporting functions, right? So you can save the admin's time, whoever you have doing admin in your business, or maybe on some levels, you as the owner are still managing some of that admin time, right? What's a better use of your time? It's probably either managing the actual functions on the project on site, or you as the owner, it's probably going out there and getting more work, right? Building those relationships so that you have more work coming in the door, not the, tracking time to run payroll or, this report and running that report. So can you save your time as the owner as well as the admin staff in your office who could probably be doing other things which are far more important than, again, chasing paper timesheets at the end of a week so we can run payroll kind of a thing, right? So where can you automate things in your business? Things that are very easily automatable, right? What can you do in your business to take that kind of hand out of it, right? We do it by hand, we do it manually. Where can we insert some technology, right? So Technology is going to help you cut costs. So again, you're going to be your takeaway, right? Your technology will help cut hidden overhead, right? And it'll improve your accuracy. So there are going to be costs buried in your overhead that you don't realize are there. So now if you can start to automate those functions and get them out of, again, the manual hands of somebody working on it, you can not only improve the accuracy, but possibly cut down on some of those overhead expenses, which again are going to ultimately eat into your overall entity level profit margin, not just the margin on the project. So again, I know technology is kind of a swear word in construction, but where can we implement that and utilize it and build in some efficiencies and get things out of just people doing things by hand? It's a huge efficiency improvement and will get you that time savings and get you the savings where you need it, right? So you can now actually get people out doing other things for you that will be far more beneficial in your business than, doing the kind of manual by hand things that you had them doing, right? So just as a quick recap, like what are some of the things you can do? Get out there, review your supplier pricing, right? Can you negotiate a discount with them? Are you optimizing your labor as well as your equipment, right? Do you have people unnecessarily hanging around on job sites, right? Can you improve their efficiency? And use the technology where you can, right? Implement that technology because it is going to help you improve, especially, admin level functions within your business. So cutting costs does not mean that you have to cut corners, right? It just means running smarter, right? Don't just spin your wheels in your business. Get out there and utilize the resources that you have, which in some cases are very limited. Let's utilize them as efficiently as we can, right? So even if you just implement one of the tips that we talked about today, right? I know that you can improve your overall bottom line. Okay. So for those of you out there, I would love to hear from you. So what's one area that you feel like that we talked about today that you can improve on right away, right? If what does your business spend too much on, right? Do you spend too much time sending people around on job sites, right? That's a great way for you to save some money. So tell me, I'd love to hear from you. Let me know exactly what you think you could potentially improve. I'd like to see, again, I think you can do many of these things tomorrow, but get out there and just give one of them a try, right? I definitely think you're going to find yourself some savings in that. So, we are, I would say, almost all the way through our cash flow boot camp. So I would love to see you here next week. We are going to be talking about building a cash reserve. All right. So that's another huge problem in construction. Nobody has any money saved. So let's talk about the best way for you guys to build up those cash reserves. I look forward to hearing from you and seeing you here every week, every Friday. As always, have a wonderful week, and we'll see you next week.